Okay. And we're live.
All right, welcome to the Bros Before Elbows podcast, pro wrestling podcast, I should say, episode number 3.4. We have got a great episode. So on this episode of the Bros Before Elbows pro wrestling podcast, we're doing a triple threat topic match. Each host will share 3 topics of their choice, and we'll discuss them. Use the hashtag BB4E. Of course, it stands for Bros Before Elbows, to comment on the topics yourself. We'll be sure to hit you back on social media. So listen and subscribe to the show on iTunes and YouTube, and be sure to socialize with all of us, on Twitter and Facebook. Just search Bros Before, the number 4, Elbows. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. We made it.
We're here. We made it. Back again.
Back again after a little bit of time. Actually, not a little bit of time. Consistent time, I should say.
Only like a month.
I think so. Yeah. A lot's happened in the last month, but I think we're aiming for the attempted bi-weekly show once again.
Yeah, I think we're back in the swing of things. I mean, we're now a trio, so we're no longer just a tag team. We're now a trio, so we're going with that trios title in Ring of Honor and Lucha Underground. So we left the tag division, entered the trios division. So it's a whole brand new era of this podcast. So I'm excited.
A new era, if you will, because that is what keeps wrestling fresh, and that is what keeps the podcast fresh. It's going into that new era and that new realm, and tweeting. And hit us up on social media at Bros Before Elbows. Tweet that.
Yeah. Speaking of social media, how about Theron taking over the Bros Before Elbows Twitter account the last 3 weeks and just completely shouting out GIFs, adding wrestlers, putting funny pictures up there, doing polls. I mean, he's our social media guru right now. It's great. It's a whole new era.
Absolutely. First and foremost, that's what I'm here for, is to, get out there and take over the Twitterverse. I'm coming for the Twitterverse, getting some retweet love out there, getting some special retweet love out there from a WWE wrestler. Yeah.
We're moving up.
Yeah, we're coming up in the world. Shout out to the Raw women's division. Dana Brooke retweeted a tweet yesterday that I posted. I was watching Raw last night, and the opening segment was the women's division. Mick Foley's trying to clear some stuff up. Dana Brooke comes out. Charlotte's out there. Charlotte's belittling Dana. Dana hauls off and smacks Charlotte in the face. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be the setup for like a tag match. Charlotte, Dana versus Bayley and Sasha, because they were all in the ring. I was like, Raw is so predictable. And then, no, Mick Foley's like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing Bayley versus Sasha, #1 contenders match for the WWE Women's title. I'm like, oh, snap. Then Dana Brooke hauls off and smacks Charlotte, because Charlotte's just being a real diva.
Yeah,
and then
there
it turns into a triple threat. Got a little love from that, shouting out the,
it's good, man. It's the
Brookmeister, D. Brooke.
It's the power. It's the power of social media, dude. Like a big WWE superstar could just pull up her phone and then retweet us. It's kind of crazy.
Man, that's special, dude. That is cool. And I even said I even put out a tweet too, not to overshadow or eclipse this awesome tweet from Theron. Which, by the way, if you're following us on Twitter, Theron is the loot bags.
Mm-hmm.
Loot bag at the end of a tweet. That is Theron. But it's funny that you were tweeting at that time, Theron, because I also sent out a tweet, but I did not get any Dana love or any Dana Brooke love.
I'm sorry, man. I apologize for that.
But that's legit, dude. Stud stable, bro. Too sweet.
Yeah, too sweet. But yeah, check it.
That's the stud stable. Instead of too sweet, we say very good.
Very good. Just make sure you check us out on Twitter. Retweet us. We're at Bros Before Elbows on there. Check us out on Facebook, and check out this podcast because it's awesome.
So
iTunes.
Definitely check us out. Subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. So jumping back into what we're going to talk about, here are the topics. So I have 3 topics. Tommy has 3 topics, and T Money's Theron /Purple Nerd has
Oh, come on.
Not purple.
Come on,
dude.
L Automobile.
I told you that was a dark time. He's just jealous that
I'm
Dana
shooting
Brooke
on
didn't
you, bro.
retweet him.
I'm shooting on you.
He's just mad he didn't get any love from any WWE women. It's okay. I'll let that slide.
That's very true. It's very true.
Yeah, straight double cross me.
Very good.
Yeah, very good.
So the topics that I picked for, and we're not going to, this will kind of be kind of spread out throughout the show, but the topics that I picked for the triple threat was SmackDown versus Raw, why I think SmackDown is better, NXT, and Heath Slater. Tommy, what were your topics?
My topics were the Alberto Rio Page drama between the WWE and their drug tests and all that fallout from that. CM Punk's UFC debut this past weekend in Cleveland. And Lucha Underground's Season 3 started last Wednesday night. And so I'm super hyped about that. Theron, what were your topics that you had on your mind?
Well, not to be a copycat, but I'm looking at reactions to the brand split, SmackDown versus Raw. What we're thinking about it. Kevin Owens as the guy now. He is the current longest reigning, don't forget that, Universal Champion. And then the idea of Raw being a soap opera versus, SmackDown being like a place where people really do go and wrestle. So those are my topics.
Hell yeah. Well, we'll start the first topic just like Backlash, which was just this recent Sunday, I believe, how they started out with a women's match. So let's jump into SmackDown versus Raw, and specifically the women's division. I just want to say congratulations to Becky Lynch. That is incredible. That is awesome. You did it. You deserve it. And your division, or the division that you're in, I think is by far the strongest. Best storylines, really good beefs that are coming about. So I feel comfortable, which is what I really like about SmackDown, is I feel comfortable about the pairings. I feel comfortable, and I like the who people are beefing with and who they're feuding with, because it instantly grabs my attention, and it's something that I want to see through. So as far as what Raw's got going for him, I know we're going to talk about it a little bit later as far as the soap opera stuff goes, but it's kind of the opposite of how I feel about SmackDown. SmackDown is more good pairings. It's only 2 hours, which I think is great. That's very palatable. And then having, then versus Raw, which is kind of forced and predictable and more talk, less wrestle. But yeah, as far as the women's division goes for SmackDown, by far, definitely the coolest, definitely impressive. And yeah, so what do you guys think?
Does it? I was asked there in this. Does this come down to it's like 2 hours versus 3 hours? Is that like the big sticking point? Like if Raw condense everything into 2 hours, do you think it would make it a little better than SmackDown, or is this the SmackDown style is kind of different than Raw at this point right now?
I mean, I feel as though if they went with 2 hours, because now the brands are split up. I mean, Raw's roster is bigger, right? They have more people.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 hours is just so long, and they're just having to fill out space. I mean, who wants to see Darren Young versus Titus O'Neil? Nobody cares about that beef. Who wants to see Jack Swagger versus Jinder Mahal? Like, why do I have to watch that? Where are they going to go? Like, where do they belong? What title are they chasing right now? If they condense it to 2 hours, I feel like it would be a better look for them, because SmackDown gets a lot accomplished in those 2 hours that they have. And they just have, it seems like to me, I don't know about anybody else, but they just have more going right now. They have wrestlers, as opposed to long drawn out storylines, which we'll get into later. But yeah, what do you think, Tommy?
I've been out of the Raw SmackDown loop. I've been watching most of it just through YouTube and stuff. And yeah, it seems like Raw's has got a lot of filler. I got so much time to fill, so they have to do stuff like offshoot feuds like Jericho versus Zayn, which is kind of cool. But then their tag division, it's repeating already. The Bullet Club versus New Day, that feud's kind of been going on too long, and they have this new feud of Enzo and Cass versus the Shining Stars, which the only reason they're feuding is because I think Raw only has 4 tag teams. There's only so many dance partners you could dance with right now. So I think they're still kind of feeling their way through the brand split. And I'm gonna say with the brand split. I don't know if that's this topic right now, but I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I'm a minority.
Jump right into it, dude. Yeah.
I'm the minority in this, but I just don't. I mean, it's just like it's too much to follow. I mean, I liked it when it was this everything was this like one streamlined process where I could follow like one like book. Now it feels like I have to read like two books at the same time, which is kind of cool because SmackDown's like a different book than Raw, but still like a lot to keep track of and a lot of storylines to like keep in the same like page. So I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the brand split so far. I'm not like in the minority, but I'm not really my cup of tea yet.
You don't like having all these titles, Universal titles,
That's what
SmackDown Live women's titles, SmackDown Live tag titles, which look cooler than the Raw titles, by the way.
Yeah.
You don't
I like
that?
it on paper. But I think it kind of just dilutes everything. It's confusing. Like, why does Kevin Owens have a belt and then AJ Styles have the belt? Like, who's the number one person in the company? Like, why do we have to have two, like, 1A and 1B? I don't know. I'd rather just have, like, one King of the Mountain and everyone gunning for him. No TNA puns intended, but
because if you have one King, wow! I just realized what you did. They retired that. They retired that belt. It's called the Grand Championship now. You put respect on its name. Listen, if you don't have two titles, how does Heath Slater ever become the world champion? This is for guys like Heath Slater, okay?
Heath Slater. I think the Heath Slater and Rhino storyline is like one of the best things ever, and it's like following along with it from a distance. I haven't watched too much SmackDown.
Dude, it
seems really cool. It is great, but I would love to see them feud with the New Day. Like, why can't they? Like, it just like dilutes everything. If everyone has a title, if there's 6 or 8 different titles in the WWE universe right now, it kind of just dilutes everything. It makes like waters down everything. So I don't know. I'm just like 2 SmackDown, like 2 tag titles and 2 women's titles. I think that's like, I don't know, that's excessive. I'd rather just have everything like float or something. But that's the way they're going. So I just got to get used to it, I guess.
I personally like it. I think it's cool because it does make you choose between which one you want to watch. Mm-hmm. So I think you're at that decision making or kind of in that decision mode or choice mode, I should say, that WWE wants you to feel. You know what I mean? They want you to like debate between, okay, do I really want to watch Raw? Do I really want to watch SmackDown? Which one am I going to watch over the other? Personally, for me, I'd rather watch SmackDown over Raw. It's 2 hours. It's palatable. Again, it's more wrestling. Like, I want to see the technicality. I want to see the athleticism. I want to see that. And I think it's cool that they have their own belt, that they have their own women's division, their own tag division. For the idea of the roster being so big and giving everybody a chance, I think this is, for now, the best remedy for that, instead of having a giant Mod Podge of all these different wrestlers in one show. That's 3 hours on. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, and I mean, you get, you're going to get, you're on Raw. It's not to say that Raw doesn't have wrestlers, because Seth Rollins is extremely talented.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Absolutely.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens is a wrestler. Sami Zayn hasn't gotten his shot yet, but he's in the picture. He can wrestle. Chris Jericho is like 50, and he still can go. And then all the people coming up as well. They can wrestle when they want to wrestle, but I think what happens is, Raw just has so much to fill that they draw it out, and there's just way too much explaining as opposed to SmackDown, where it's like, we're just going to wrestle right now because we only have 2 hours to wrestle in, so we don't have a lot of time. So, I don't know.
I think
it's still getting adjusted.
Yeah.
What do you say, man?
I was going to say it's like instant beef. It's like Ziggler comes out after losing to Dean Ambrose after Backlash, and he can immediately just start beefing with The Miz. Out of nowhere. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I accept that. Cool. I want to see these 2 dudes fight. Instead of it being like some long drawn out, like some forced reason why these guys have to fight. No, it's just, hey, man, I don't like you. I'm going to fight you. That's just how it's going to be. That's how SmackDown is for me. And I just think that's rad. And plus, Heath Slater's got kids.
I think we rolled over to our next bullet point, which is reactions to the brand split, our second thing. So I think we kind of rolled over that. I'm kind of team Raw just because I was like, just by that habit of watching it on Monday. So I'm like, oh, it's Monday. It's the first day of the week. I'll watch wrestling. Then Tuesday, like tonight, I forgot. There was wrestling on Sunday and Monday. Oh, crap, I forgot there was wrestling on Tuesday. So I always miss SmackDown, it seems like. So I'm like in the watching habit of just like turning on Raw in the background on Monday nights. Well, I'm not like in that habit yet of doing that for SmackDown. So I feel like I missed a lot of SmackDown. So I'm kind of like Team Raw just because I was that habit that I've been known since like Monday Night Show versus Monday Night Raw back in the 90s. Like that habit has been ingrained into my brain. Just like, oh, Monday night, turn on USA because there's gonna be some wrestling on. Where like Tuesday night comes around, like, oh, dang, I forgot there's a SmackDown still. So I'm Team Raw.
I don't know, bro. Still know how I feel about that. I don't know if Theron's still alive.
I'm still here. I'm right here. I didn't know if it was my turn.
Are you Team Raw or Team SmackDown there? And if you had to like watch one for like the next month without watching the other, which one would you watch?
Man, dude, that's a tough one because there's so many people I like. I would watch SmackDown because I'm Team SmackDown right now. But that's what's weird about it. I would also want to poach people from Raw. Like, I need Kevin Owens. I need Seth Rollins. I don't need anybody else, really. Just Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. And Dana Brooke.
Enzo and Cass?
Dana Brooke, I didn't forget about you. Enzo and Cass, too.
You know, but I'm going to point something out. If you want condensed Raw, watch it on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get the Jinder Mahals versus Jack Swaggers. You don't get the unnecessary, fluff and garbage that comes along with Raw like it normally does. You can just watch it. It's condensed. You get the best of what you want. I think that's a remedy to it as far as I'm gonna keep using this word palatability.
I don't even know what that word means. Side note, spoiler alert: Jack Swagger is now a member of SmackDown. Apparently.
What?
I haven't watched it yet, but I think I saw that on Cage Side. Cage Side also will give you Raw in condensed form if you don't feel like watching it 3 hours of it. But the reason I'm Team SmackDown is because the wrestlers wrestle. Like, like Carmella's beefing with Nikki Bella right now. They haven't really had an explanation to that, but they don't have to. Carmella sees Nikki, she takes her out. The Usos have gone from face-painted freaks to all black. We're just about our business, and we're breaking people's hamstrings. You know
That's
what I'm
cool.
saying?
I like that.
That's dope. Dean Ambrose is the wild card. AJ Styles is currently the man, and he deserves to be because he's like 37. Yeah, that whole thing. He's like 37 years old, so he can't run it for that long.
DDP yoga, bro.
Yeah, sure. Whatever you say. And then you got Apollo Crews, who just comes out, smiles, and, he can do a backflip. He's strong.
Everyone loves Apollo Crews.
I do like Apollo Crews now. I do now.
What? This is 3 weeks, everything changes on this podcast. I'm totally turned backwards.
After I watched him for a while, he's jobbed to so many people. He's lost so many matches. I'm just like, gosh, when is this guy going to catch a break? I knew he wasn't going to win the Intercontinental title. But then he jobbed at Backlash, which we can, I don't know, unless we're done. If we're not done talking about this, we can keep going. But we can talk about Backlash soon. He jobbed in a pre-show that no one even knew there was a match. It was him and Baron Corbin. I didn't know
there was a match to that.
Him and Baron Corbin? No, I didn't know that. Yeah.
It was a pre-show match that no one knew about. And then they went over it during the pay-per-view like, oh, by the way, there was a pre-show match. Those are two good wrestlers. Up and coming, but still.
Yeah, I like Baron Corbin.
Yeah, he's the lone wolf, Yeah. He might end Kalisto's career, but it's cool.
He's no Apollo Crews, the jolly, lovable, backflipping.
Oh, dude, I would take like 5 years from now. I'd bet my money on Baron Corbin being bigger than Apollo Crews.
Yeah, definitely.
If anyone wants to take that bet.
Definitely. Baron Corbin is going to be. I don't know. Apollo Crews probably has to change up his style or get better on the mic or something. Like he doesn't, But
it's Apollo Crews, dude. Let him be.
I like him. I like him. But I also like the Universal title. So what does that tell you? Because no one likes that belt. I think it's cool.
The red velvet cake belt.
Speaking of red velvet cake, 4 more days and Eva Marie is back in our lives. Yes.
I did not know where you were going with that. I'm glad you kept it PG.
All read what did you think I was going to say? All read everything, man. Shout out you.
You have a live mic in front of your face. I don't know what you're going to say.
This is a PG show, okay? We're going to keep it PG. What are we talking about here?
I don't know.
All right, let's jump forward here real quick because I know we're going to get back to Raw versus SmackDown. Let's jump into some Del Rio action. Somebody who we're not going to see on Raw or SmackDown.
Alberto El Patron.
Yeah, man. What? So like,
WTF, dude? He was in. He got smacked, or he smacked somebody. Then he was out. Then he was doing indies in Lucha Underground, and now he's just out.
He's out again.
I think the rumor I heard, like him and Paige started like dating like in May or something, and he got a divorce from his wife, and like she like thought he was seeing Paige while he was still married.
Triple H trying to Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. What? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Contradictory.
Yeah, dude, John Cena, freaking Nikki Bella,
CM Punk.
CM Punk and everyone. They put, and that's why they put him on different. They put Del Rio on SmackDown and Paige on Raw, or the other way around. I don't know which way it was, but they split them up because they didn't like the relationship, and that and then they get busted for drugs at the same time too, and get 30-day suspension right before SummerSlam.
Well, she was busted for pot, right? And he was busted for like testosterone replacement therapy juice. I mean, what is going? But it's so contradictory. I just think that Paul Levesque, that's Triple H, if you don't know his real name, doesn't like Alberto Del Rio. I don't think he's ever liked Alberto Del Rio because I don't know. I feel like when Triple H sees someone that can get to the potential of what Triple H has become, it scares him away. So if he doesn't like you, he's just gonna bury you. Because I mean, Paige and Del Rio. I mean,
they've been buried for the last 6 months. They really haven't done anything. I mean, Del Rio came back and he beat Cena for the U.S. title, but what has he done since then?
Nothing, man. I mean, 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, Paige won the retired Divas Championship on her debut, and Del Rio was coming off of a world title reign, or he was world champion, and now you're burying people like Paige. I used to like Paige. I still like Paige. I think she's awesome. But
yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I think there should be a place for Paige. She's a good wrestler. She's got a good gimmick and stuff. So I don't know. I liked her better than Del Rio. So I think. I don't know it's going to interesting what they do with Paige now that her boyfriend doesn't work for the company anymore.
She still works there though, right? Like I know she supposedly quit, but she's under contract.
Oh, she quit? I didn't even hear that.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
No, it's good. That's why I want to put this topic in there because I want to learn more about it.
You didn't know she quit?
No, I didn't.
She supposedly quit. She's getting lawyers involved. She's in contract for like several more years, they say.
Yeah, she's young still.
She is young. She also just got a new tattoo. Guess what the tattoo says? Just take a guess.
There's like Poppy or something, right?
No, she has another tattoo. It says Alberto.
No way.
I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw on Cage Side. Unless I couldn't see it good, but I'm pretty sure it says Alberto. She's what, 23? She's like 23 or 24, so she's young. She's in that young love. Alberto Del Rio is like 30-something, I think.
He's old. Yeah, he's old as hell.
I don't know what's going. I don't understand that relation. This is like the first relationship that is real outside of wrestling. But then you have them. But then you have John Cena and Nikki Bella. So here's my problem with this whole thing. So Nikki Bella is cleared to wrestle again. Where does she end up? On SmackDown, which is where her boyfriend is, right? Alberto and Paige decide to date. And it's the biggest problem in the world. I just don't understand what the difference is between those two. Is it because John Cena and Nikki Bella are doing more outside of wrestling on TV? Or is it just because, again, Triple H doesn't like Alberto Del Rio? Because they like Paige. They do like her. But I don't know. There's a vendetta.
She was on Total Diva. She was getting a big push. She won the title. She won the NXT title. I mean, she's getting a huge push. So, yeah, they do like her. So... like that kind of relationship in the workplace, but I guess John Cena is the exception because he's the face that runs the place.
Yeah, I guess
that came in second place.
But that's extremely hypocritical. Anthony, what do you think about like?
Yeah, no, you guys are saying exactly what I would be saying. Liz even pointed it out at Total Betty Good when she's on Twitter. But she was saying it's really screwed up. John Cena, Nikki Bella, Daniel Bryan, Brie Bella. I might have mixed them up, but whatever.
You got them right.
Okay. And then obviously Triple H, Stephanie McMahon. So it's I don't know. If it's because you don't like their relationship, that's a stupid reason.
I think it was messed up that they split. Yeah, Lana and Rusev. I think it was messed up they split them up in the draft.
Yeah, that was just spiteful, man. Like, who knows what really goes on behind the scenes, because you don't know until you hear it from the wrestler. Like, we didn't know what was really going on with CM Punk until he went on the Colt Cabana podcast and like aired out all his grievances, and you're just like, whoa, bro.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So I don't know. It's interesting to see. I'm interested to see what happens with Paige. I mean, Del Rio's obviously done. I think he's already like going to be wrestling under his new moniker soon. Well, El Patron.
El Patron. Yeah. I wonder where he's gonna go. Maybe he goes back to the Indies. But we should move forward here on our next topic, which is NXT. So speaking about Indies, I view NXT as the WWE Indies, the Indies of WWE. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Of course, it's developmental, but yeah, dude, I love NXT, dude. I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I love Asuka. I love everybody that's there. TM61, freaking the Revival, all these wrestlers, dude. It's super cool. NXT is an awesome product. Plus, what I think is cool, which I think is super fitting for NXT, especially, is now with the brand split and you have NXT, you had all these dudes kind of like pocketed in NXT for a while. Sami Zayn, Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews, Kevin Owens, Finn Balor. Like, that was the perfect surge, the perfect time to split the brand, surge these guys into the main roster, and then you have guys from TNA like Samoa Joe definitely can hold it down. Shinsuke Nakamura from New Japan totally can hold it down. Then you got Austin Aries, who I think is incredible for getting dudes over, like Cien Almas, No Way Jose. Like, he's like, and then of course you got glorious freaking Bobby Roode, dude, in NXT. So it's really cool. So right now NXT is like not only the indies, but it's like that. It is that level above it, and it's like its own. NXT to me is like its own little realm, and I think that in itself is so cool. Plus, they got some new merchandise, and I really want to buy that belt. Even though I hate the belt look, I still think it'd be sweet to buy the belt.
Oh my god, you are a full NXT super fan. You want to leave that belt? But I was gonna say this, like, I always viewed the NXT is like if ROH and TNA, like, they melded together, and then they had like WWE's production values and like creative team behind it. This is what you would get if like ROH versus TNA. Add a little more indies, add a little sprinkle of Japan in there, and then add like WWE's like money, their cameras, their directors, their producers, and their writers. You add that all into a bowl, mix it up, and then you spits out NXT, and that's like kind of like a supercharged version of ROH or TNA with it if it had like a good direction to it. So that's why I think it comes out really good. And plus, it's like 1 hour a week. Even though they tape it ahead, I never ran into spoilers anywhere, which is kind of cool. I never run into an NXT spoiler. So I like that too, but yeah, I'm so far behind on that, man. But I want to see, I like Nakamura versus Joe and Bobby Roode having feuds, and their tag division. They keep losing people. The tag division, they keep losing people, but they keep gaining cool teams. So I love NXT. Theron, where are you at on NXT? Are you caught up, or you watch it every week, or what's the deal with Theron?
I don't watch it every week. I'm sorry. It's not because I don't like it. I watch all the takeovers. I try to watch it when I have time, but you don't have to. That's the thing about NXT is you can watch just takeover and you can just be sucked in, or you can watch a random episode in the middle of the month of October and still be sucked in because what they're doing works. And the crazy thing is that is Triple H's baby, and he's making it work. Like the Rising Sun, like. Shinsuke Nakamura is awesome. His entrance is awesome. His style is awesome. The King of Strong style. His music, like when that violin, like at Takeover, I don't know if did you guys watch the last Takeover? It was so disgusting with the violin dude coming out, like playing a live violin. Like when he drops in the ring, you're just like, yo, this is crazy.
Dude, the crowd sings his song.
Yeah, the crowd sings his song. Asuka is, Asuka's awesome. She's gonna dominate and then you got guys that are former TNA guys. Like Samoa Joe, who can carry a match. The glorious Bobby Roode. Which, speaking of glorious Bobby Roode, is glorious Bobby Roode? Is that like a knock on the Miracle Mike Bennett? Have you guys ever?
Oh my god! I never even thought of that. That's a good theory. That's a great theory.
Think about this for a second, because if you're not familiar, if you're listening at home, TNA has Mike Bennett, who's an awesome wrestler. His moniker is the Miracle. His wife is Maria Kanellis, and they have this whole thing where they come out and they pretty much say, "Do you believe in miracles?" And his music's actually pretty good for TNA quality sound. Then you got Glorious Bobby Roode and the Glory Bomb, and I don't know if he's like. It's just Glorious versus Miracle. It's just kind of like, and he's got like this cocky attitude, but you like him. Same thing with the Miracle when you watch him. So there's that, and then you got like all the other guys. Like the tag teams are awesome. The Revival is great. Those are the champs, right? NXT champs are the Revival right now, aren't they?
Yeah, and that's cool too. There's only 2 belts.
Yeah, there's only 3. There's 3, but
Oh, that's sorry.
It's only an hour of wrestling, and the matches are sick. Like what? Like some of the stuff those guys do, you're just like, wow, would they even allow that in WWE? Like these guys put on some real serious matches.
Dude, they give them some time too.
Yeah, they give them time.
It's not just like, okay, we only have an hour, we have to get 5 matches in. It's like, no, we dedicate the time to 2 matches if we want. Fuck, we can. Whoa, hey. Heck, we can even have. Shinsuke Nakamura do a whole match for the entire episode.
He's so awesome, man. That music is great. And then Samoa Joe's just this big brute. I think Eric Young is signed to them, but I don't know if he's because of NXT. You can go and come, like you don't have you're not always under contract. Like some of those guys, like I think Gargano and Ciampa or some other people, like they revolve. They go to like Evolve and like other indie wrestling dates too, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah, they were at Pro Wrestling Gorilla, that video games.
PWG. Yeah. Shout out PWG, man. The Young Bucks out there tearing it up. Those guys are awesome too.
Sweet. Yeah.
I'd love to see them. And
very, very nice, very well.
Yes, very, very good is what it is.
Oh, sorry.
But yes, NXT is awesome, man. I mean, it just makes you want. The only thing that bothers me with NXT is that people get such a big following. I don't know what your take is on this, guys, but these guys get such a big following in NXT. Like Apollo Crews had a big following. Tyler Breeze he was big down in NXT. Bo Dallas was big in NXT. Then they come up to exactly. Then they come up to the main roster, and they don't get that. I'm not. But then you got guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn who have the big following, and then Enzo and
Finn
Cass.
Balor.
Finn Balor, yeah.
Freaking Man Gravity Forgot. Neville.
Oh yeah,
Neville. Yeah.
Where is Neville? I haven't seen that guy in a while.
I think he's on Raw, but he doesn't do anything. Yeah.
He is on Raw, but see, exactly, like he was the NXT champion for a long time. So my question would be, do you guys think that some people should just stay in NXT and have that star power down there, or should they actually all shoot to move up?
I think one of the big problems is that like they want that they make more money if they go on Raw because they do more appearances or something like that. I don't know if they get paid by appearance or if they get like a bonus if they get to the Raw roster or something like that. But I think they get a big bump in pay. I think if you're in NXT, you don't get paid as much. So I think everyone wants to get to. It'd be cool if they could keep it separate, but I don't think it works out economics wise.
Yeah, I could see it. I think eventually you go.
Yeah,
if you look at it from Tyler Breeze's standpoint, it took a long time. Like there were guys that it seems like eclipsed him.
What about Bailey? How long she was down there? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I just think it's based on storyline. Like I don't think they're going to move Asuka anytime soon. I don't think they're going to move Shinsuke Nakamura anytime soon.
Oh, they should though, because he's freaking awesome.
So.
It's tough though. Like, where do you find room? Yeah, it's just like only so much room though. I would hate to see Shinsuke Nakamura move up and then have to feud with like the Miz or I don't know someone.
No. I'm not saying that I'm not saying they should. You're right, but what I should say is that when he does go up, it's gonna be to me. It's gonna be awesome. Whether people accept him or not, I'm always gonna cheer for him.
That to me, I think is the ultimate goal. But to answer the bigger question, I think that there are some dudes and some wrestlers, chicks even, that they want to keep just as because it's booking power. It's cool. It's like I want to see Shinsuke in NXT versus seeing him in SmackDown or seeing him in Raw.
That's why he's
more mystique to him.
NXT champion right now. He took the belt off of Samoa Joe, which was.
Sorry.
No, that's it.
Dropped out for a second. But we'll segue into the next section, actually. KO the guy. Oh, and by the way, before we jump in, check us out on Twitter. By the way, hashtag BB4E. I know we get so involved in our banter and in our discussions that we forget to invite you to chat along with us. So I know this is live right now. So if anybody's listening to this, that'd be really cool. Use the hashtag BB4E, stands for Bros Before Elbows. You can even hashtag Bros Before the number 4 Elbows. That'd be cool too. But check us out on Twitter. Subscribe to us on iTunes. All that happy good stuff. But jumping in, what we were just talking about is NXT champions and whether or not they go to the main roster or they stay in the developmental, quote unquote, the indies of not really being the indies, WWE supercharged indies, we'll say. But KO the guy, the new WWE Universal Champion, comes from NXT.
That's crazy. I mean, it's crazy how fast. I mean, it's been like, I think it was 2 years since he came up to the main roster, but it still feels like it was quick to have him be one of the second Universal Champion, which is cool. I mean, because I just remember we were discussing Kevin Steen on this show, I think, when we first started this show, or Kevin Steen and like Ladder Wars with like Sami Zayn, or this Kevin Steen where he wrestled Nakamura in New Japan. ROH versus New Japan. They did that show. Yeah, remember that show?
Right, dude. The world something, world domination.
Oh, War of the Worlds or something.
War of the Worlds. That's it.
Yeah, they had Nakamura.
Gosh, so good.
Nakamura versus Steen. They had the Young Bucks versus Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. They had this super kick party. Man, it just seems like we're just talking about that on the show, and now Kevin Owens is getting help from Triple H. He's pinning Seth Rollins for the championship, and now he's the guy. Now he's main eventing Clash of Champions.
So why not? Why not? Why would he not be the guy?
Because look at him. He doesn't look like, he looks like a Mick Foley cross of a Jake Roberts cross.
Have you seen him in the ring though?
I know, but yeah. I list all the cool things about him, but doesn't mean like there's been a lot of cool guys in the past who didn't get the push because they didn't look like John Cena or they didn't look like Roman Reigns. I mean, see how long it took Daniel Bryan. See how long it took CM Punk. You thought it would take longer for Kevin Owens. You thought it would take long, like Brian. I mean, I think Bryan and Punk are better than Owens, but I think that's
they can't. They're not wrestling anymore. So there's nothing we can do about those guys.
No. I'm saying that their road to the top took a lot longer. So that's why I'm still surprised that like Owens and Styles are getting pushed so fast. Even Balor. So pushed.
Okay. I didn't agree with Balor. I didn't understand that. But Kevin Owens. So Balor gets pushed. As karma would have it, Balor gets hurt.
Yeah.
We think. I'm sure you guys thought this too. Okay, Balor's hurt. They're having a 4-way whatever. It's going to be Roman Reigns. It's going to be Seth Rollins over again. We're going to watch that for another 6 months. That's 3 years of the Shield running all the shows because Dean Ambrose was running SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I said from the time that I first saw Kevin Owens, when he was Kevin Steen and he was fighting that redheaded dude that wore the mask, that I don't know where El Generico went, but if anyone see him, put an ETA out for him. I haven't seen him since Sami Zayn came out. I was like, this dude's awesome. He was powerbombing people on aprons. When he came to NXT, he powerbombs a guy and puts him out for 6.5 months or however long Sami Zayn was out. I was like, that dude is going to be the man. How quickly it happened, I think that was just a happenstance of Finn Balor getting injured. Do you think that if Finn Balor didn't get injured, we'd be where we are right now? Do you think KO would be in the title picture? Do you think it'd be Reigns, Rollins, Finn Balor, or Rollins versus Finn Balor? I like KO because he's funny on the mic. He told what's her name? Renee. Is it Renee? What's her name? What's that
Renee
chick's
Young?
name? When he told her that her haircut looked stupid, I almost fell out of the couch. Dude's hilarious, man. And I know he's not the typical norm. He's not. He doesn't look like Hulk Hogan. He doesn't look like Bret Hart. He doesn't even look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. But when the bell rings, that dude owns every part of the ring. I like the way he wrestles. I like that he talks to the wrestler and you can hear it because they have the mic up. So. I mean, is it ideally what you want to see on Raw? Maybe not, but for me, I think he deserves it. I mean, he's worked hard. Mm-hmm. Did he get it too quickly? Probably, but you can't. Did you watch Raw when he won the title, or did you just watch? You watched it. did you see when Triple H, like, where does Triple H come from, who hasn't been around since he lost his title? And then he hops in and he pedigrees Roman, and you're like, all right, well, we know what's going to happen now because they're building up this whole he's going to help Rollins. And then he hops in the ring, and KO's like in the corner, and Rollins is like right there, and he just and then he pedigrees, he kicks him, and then he's like looking at KO, and he's like shaking his head like, are you ready for this? Are you ready to have the torch? Because I'm about to give it to you. Then he pedigrees. That was epic. You can't write that. That right there was a victory for Raw over SmackDown that week, hands down.
Oh, hands down, yes, absolutely.
So I like KO. I think he's awesome. I mean, we'll see how long he keeps the title. We'll see. I think he'll keep it. I think he'll win at Clash of Champions, and then I think Survivor Series is after that. But
he's currently the longest reigning Universal Champ.
Yep.
Does he say
exactly.
that? Has he said that?
Yeah, they say that. They all say
Jericho
that.
says.
Everybody says that.
Oh, everybody says it. Oh man.
Yeah.
I want to answer some of those questions that you had posed real quick about Kevin Owens. One, I remember my first experience with Kevin Owens / Steen was Tommy sent me an email of this article about this dude that doesn't look the part. I mean, call it what it is, right? He doesn't, like, if you're in a bar, right, and you're looking around the room and you see somebody like Kevin Owens, you're like, oh, whatever, he's not a wrestler. But then you're going to look at someone like Cesaro and be like, yeah, that dude's a wrestler. You know, just his physique. So he sends me this article, and it's about Kevin Steen and how he's just not this typical wrestler. He's not the typical dude you would think should be doing what he's doing. He's harassing fans. He's eating their hot dogs. He's like spilling their drinks. He's just being a total jackass. And everybody loves him. And I read this article and I was like, okay, I'm going to follow this dude. And that's what got me into ROH. So that's what really got me into this underground world of wrestling. And then it was fascinating from there, just how Kevin Owens kind of opened up this indie world for me, because then it's like, oh man, Tyler Black, Seth Rollins comes from ROH, Austin Aries, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Samoa Joe. Dude, the list goes on and on and on. So, and this kind of all ties into my bigger point. But with Kevin Owens, so I read this article, dive into this realm. Immediately, I just knew this guy was, if he's going to make it to the top, he's going to make it to the top. So I think what Triple H is doing is he sees that as well. And he sees like, okay, this guy, dude, if people are following this guy in the indies and he's obviously really good, he's really athletic, he moves faster than he obviously looks. And he's athletic and he's smart and he's got good feuds and he's good on the mic and just people just love him. Cool. There's something deeper in this. And so I think Triple H sees the wrestling world as like, I can capture more wrestling fans by picking up on these young dudes that have been doing it for a long time, but haven't had the limelight in the showcase of WWE. Let's also put to perspective too, and bring to light that WWE has always had, of course, huge budgets, but they've always homegrown their dudes. It didn't seem like they would poach many guys from the indies. So ROH was isolated. That was like the island, New Japan, like you would go back and forth, but rarely was it that you would just go directly from ROH to WWE, maybe to TNA, because that's kind of what happened with some of those dudes, Austin Aries, Samoa Joe, dudes like that. But what I see is what Triple H, I believe, sees is all of these super talented dudes that have just been underground, and now he can put them on a bigger platform and a bigger showcase. So I think it was appropriate for Kevin Owens to be pushed as high as he has, simply because he deserves it, and two, he brings a whole new set of fans to WWE, a whole slew of people that follow, the indies, because now it's kind of seeping into the indies are seeping into WWE, and clearly we can see that. So I think Kevin Owens is the man, definitely deserves it. Triple H is brilliant for bringing him on board and grooming him and giving him the title. I think it was just a matter of time. I'll answer this one quickly. I think it was just a matter of time for Owens to get a shot against Finn. I think that would have been a really, really, really cool beef, maybe WrestleMania worthy, to where Kevin would get it. But I don't think they would have moved forward with Rollins and Reigns anyway. especially
Better
with the
pro-
brand split.
Yeah, better program right now. Would you rather see Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins? Finn Balor's hurt for the Universal title again, or would you rather see Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins for the Universal title? Which program would you want to watch right now?
I'd rather
easily.
watch Owens versus Sami Zayn. Sorry to cut you off, Tom, but that's my opinion. Mix it up, dude. Why do you have to? It's a brand.
I'm just
split.
going with the guys that are at the top of that are in the title picture right now, or even Chris Jericho. Throw Chris Jericho in there. He doesn't get enough credit.
Throw Apollo
Wait.
Crews in there, dude.
No, wait. We gotta get to commercial. We gotta get one quick point before that made me think when Anthony was talking about the Indies mixing with the WWE. Just think about the top two guys in WWE right now. Is a TNA guy and AJ Styles, and an ROH guy and Kevin Owens are the two top dogs in WWE right now at this moment.
And the top guy in NXT is an NJPW guy. Bullet Club for life.
Exactly. Thank you. That's
Bullet
crazy.
Club for life. Very good.
Wow. That is a cool thing to recognize, dude. Heck yeah.
Hit that commercial sounder. Oh man.
All right, take a quick commercial break. That was good.
And we're back.
Oh, wait.
Oh, sorry.
You're listening to the raw version on YouTube. The post-production version won't have that little goofy edit, but I needed to make a break. At least a little bit of quietness in the show, so that way in post I can put the commercial. So if you're
Are we
listening to this
still live?
Yeah, we didn't touch anything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm just explaining to the folks at home, the listeners, the fellow elbow droppers, how I would do my work as far as editing goes. But this is Raw. You're watching Raw live, rows before elbows.
Are we going to touch on the dilapidated boat or no?
No, that's not. Do not have time. We've already been on for an hour. We've already been on for 57 minutes.
Really? With what? You did a lot of. That's right. No, I'm looking at my session timer, and I'm like, no, it's only been like 48 minutes.
So you guys haven't seen Senior Benjamin anywhere? He's missing you now.
I heard he's
that,
CM Punk's next opponent.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about that. That's gonna be awesome.
Okay.
Oh wait,
Right,
Tom,
so,
was there anything you wanted to add after our little commercial break with Kevin Owens?
No, I just wanted to point out that AJ Styles and that Kevin Owens thing, then Theron knocked it out of the park with the Shinsuke New Japan
that's
thing.
great.
That's pretty cool. I got a little mind.
Another quick thing too. I posted this on my regular Facebook feed. I gotta post it to the Bros Before Elbows. But the picture of Kevin Owens with Adam Cole, is freaking.
That was
brilliant,
crazy.
So rad. See what I'm saying, dude? That's
I already put
dude.
that.
Like what?
Assholes.
Like how is it that the WWE Universal Champion and the ROH World Champion can be in a hotel together? Like, are they off right now? Are they both off? Are they both happen to be in the same city? Like, how did that even happen? That's crazy.
They're in two different cities, T-Monies.
What do you mean they're in two different cities? They're in a hotel together. What are you talking about?
I'm shocked.
Like how? Like that's just awesome. Like look at how the indies have taken over wrestling, dude. Like back in the 80s it was like all developmental territories and people moved up that way. And in the 90s it was like
Okay, wait. Let's steer this back to CM Punk somehow. I have no idea how.
Mickey go.
Mickey go.
Mickey go.
Oh, come on. Dude, so diverting to one of my topics, CM Punk's UFC debut, he signed in the UFC in December 2014, and that's when he signed with the UFC.
I thought you said 4.
No, it was 2014, sorry. And it took nearly 2 years to get into the actual UFC fighting shape, and then it lasted like 90 seconds.
You call that fighting shape?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He had a back injury that had him drop out of the fight earlier in the year. So, I mean, he was already rough. And he's 37 years old. He's had so many injuries and concussions from, like, being a wrestler since he was a teenager. I mean, he was behind the 8 ball so much, dude. I can't believe he even got to the ring. So, but, man, he just got whitewashed, steamrolled, and pancaked, man.
I mean, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking Ant, did you see the match at all, or?
I did not see the match, but I'm sure it's online somewhere.
Yeah, it's I'll send you a link. But man, yeah, it was just hard to watch. Theron, you saw the match. You saw it live, right?
Yeah, man, Periscope is awesome. By the way, no disrespect to Periscope. Hopefully, I'm not causing any blackouts. But yeah, dude, some little birdie told me that if you need to watch it, there's ways to watch it. So anyway, I saw the match live. I watched like a lot of the undercard, just waiting for the match to come on because of the way I was viewing it. And you're right,
Yeah.
like he can't like. The bell sounds and he like charges in with his fists up. I'm like, all right, let's see. And then 90 seconds later, it was over, and I was just like, what just happened? I don't even know what I just watched. Like, I think the women's match lasted longer than that I saw. I'm like, geez, man. The question I have is, what's next for him? I mean, he's 37. Like, is he gonna come back to UFC?
He said he wants to fight again, but then the UFC were saying if he's going to fight again, he has to fight for like a smaller promotion first. Like he has to get like a win under his belt because the guy he was fighting, he was like 4-0 as an amateur, 2-0 as a pro. So he was a 2-0 professional versus a 0-0 professional. So it was close to even match as you can get, unless you want to have another 2-0 guys fight in the UFC, which looks kind of bad on the UFC. So they said if he wants to fight again, he has to fight somewhere else first. So I don't know if he wants to do that and go through that thing, but he put in a lot of work, man. He put a lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of time into training to be an MMA fighter. So I don't know if he's going to throw it all away this quickly.
I mean, his post-fight press conference, he said he wanted to come back, right? Like he said he used some analogy. So he has to go. But isn't he under contract with the UFC? No? Am I reading that?
He is. Yeah, he is. I think he signed a 3 or 4 fight contract with them, but I mean, I think they would let him just because the circumstances. He did come out to Cult of Personality, which is kind of cool.
That was awesome.
He walked out to the cage of Cult of Personality. I thought that was kind of cool. But after that, it was all downhill from there, man.
It literally was so bad. Like as soon as dude shot on him, like shoot, I don't know what that's called. However, he took him down. I was like, okay, let's see what his grappling skills are like. But in the back of my mind, I was like, I've seen flashes of like his little reality story that they did on like whatever his special was, and he was like getting beat up on that, and I'm like, oh no, this guy's punching him in the face. This is real. This isn't wrestling. What's going on? Oh no.
It couldn't have gone any worse. He threw one punch, he missed the punch, he got taken down, and then on the ground he just got ragdolled. He just got completely dominated by a jiu-jitsu brown belt, which is a pretty high, a decent rank, but man, he just looked totally lost and totally out of his own. It was sad. It was kind of sad, even though everyone was like rooting against some people. It was like probably like 50-50, but a lot of people were rooting against him because you see him Punk, he's an asshole. Like when he make you like him for a little bit, then he'd like say something like stupid, and you'd be like, oh, you kind of roll your eyes at him a little bit. So I think the majority of people were happy he got his ass kicked. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I'd like to say it was a good fight, but it wasn't. Like it was one-sided completely.
It was a blowout, man. It's kind of embarrassing for sure.
I want to check it out. Yeah, send me the link when you get a chance.
Yeah,
I'll check that out. Moving forward, somebody who is gaining the limelight, a recent tag team champion. He's got kids. He's Heath Slater, one-man band, baby.
So explain to me what's happening here. What is going? Anthony or Theron, explain the story behind Heath Slater.
He's got a
free agent. Theron, go do it.
He's got a freaking, he's got an above ground pool. He's got to support that. He's got 7 kids, and he's got a wife named Beulah. Is her name Beulah? I think her name's Beulah. I don't know. He's got to support that, man.
He's getting a double wide now.
Yeah, he's getting a double wide, and they're going to Golden Corral. They actually already went to Golden Corral for dinner.
Why was he teamed up with Rhino? How'd that story start?
Oh, that's a great question.
Okay, so what happened was, Heath Slater, the draft happens. He's not drafted. He's the last one in the conference room or whatever. And so he's been fighting to get a contract with Raw and SmackDown. So he did SmackDown appearance, he do a Raw appearance, and he go back to SmackDown. And the stipulation first was with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, like you have to beat, like you just have to win this whatever first match, and you'll get a contract. And he winds up losing it. And
it was against Randy Orton, right?
Oh, maybe he was good for
Nah,
us.
he Randy Orton got disqualified, and they still they were gonna give him a contract, but he was so beat up that he called Shane
Oh, that's
McMahon
right.
Stephanie McMahon, and then he called Daniel Bryan Mick Foley or something. Like he told Shane McMahon he looked really nice tonight, and he said he gave Daniel Bryan props for being a hardcore legend. So they voided the contract.
That's right.
basically.
So he goofs his opportunity, and they were going to give him a contract, and then they decided, no, we're not going to do it. Then they came out with the tag belts, and Heath Slater came back, and everybody loves him, dude. Everybody's loving on Heath Slater. And so then Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan, the stipulation is, he's like, okay, if you find a tag team partner, you have to win the tournament, and we'll give you a contract. So then, the other stipulation was before this was that after the whole mess up with the names, they were like, fine, if you can beat your mystery opponent, then we'll give you a contract. And the mystery opponent was Rhino, and Rhino just squashes him. So Rhino gets the contract and not Heath Slater. So then Heath Slater comes back and he basically injects himself into the tag tournament because he's like, listen, this is messed up. Everybody wants me here. Give me an opportunity.
Who did they beat in the tag tournament?
They had to beat. Good tournament. I thought if Heath Slater and Rhino were not a team, I thought it was going to be American Alpha that won.
Mm-hmm.
But they got injured, so it wound up being a battle between the Hype Bros versus the Usos. And the winner of that match at Backlash had to fight again that night against Heath Slater and Rhino.
Okay.
So you haven't watched any of this SmackDown tag tournament?
I have not. No, I have not. So I don't know. I guess the Usos turned heel or something during the tournament.
Oh, they're evil now. Yeah.
So the rumor mill was that they were going to turn heel. Then the rumor mill said they were going to win the tournament. But then, as that was going on, that was like when it first started. Heath Slater teams up with Rhino, and they put that stipulation on it. So you're like, well, if Heath Slater doesn't win the tournament, then they could still give him a contract anyway because they can do whatever they want. But yeah. I think Heath Slater's story just got so much traction. Like everyone was just behind it. Like everyone was just like, let's root for the one-man band and his quirky tag team. But what did happen with American Alpha, because they were like slated to win. I was like, they're going to win this thing. They're dominating teams. So what happened with the Usos is that they lose to they beat the Usos in like 30 seconds, record time. The Usos go for the handshake, and then they just flip. Like they flip their noggin. Like they just completely turn. They attack the American Alpha. They do this move now where they like hold you up and like they have you in like the guillotine choke, and then the other one comes in and like super kicks you in the back of the leg. Whoa. So I guess that's what injured Chad Gable. Which then made, a re-semifinal with Hype Bros and the Usos. And then the Usos come out in Backlash, and they're rocking all black now. They don't do their traditional tribal. They've thrown all that away. They just come out and they just fight. That's what
they're
they
good do. They're good wrestlers, man. Yeah. I like the Usos when they teamed up with like John Cena versus like the Wyatts or Daniel Bryan against the Shield. Like they always did good like with that. Like when they have like some serious roles, they always like came up good in the ring. So I'm interested to see where they go heel wise.
Well, they're killing it as heels because they got the trash talk down. They got the new look down, and they're just more vicious now. They're like, we've been neglected. You guys are all behind American Alpha, so forget you. But the bigger point is Heath Slater is awesome.
What's their finisher with Heath Slater and Rhino? They have a tag team finisher yet? Because I want to see that if they do.
No.
Oh man.
No, okay. But Heath Slater, dude, his wrestling, you got to watch it, dude. It's a really good match. But he pulls off moves that I was just blown away by. Like, I've never seen you do this, dude. And he does it with such, like, he's really powerful, man.
He's the underdog now. I like it, dude.
He is, dude. He's the one-man band. He's got kids.
He's got like 6 or 7 or 4 or 5. Nobody really knows how many kids he has.
That's great, man. I like him. Yeah, that as a good thing with the brand split, because if these two never split up, he'd probably never get a Heath Slater like push on Raw.
There's no way.
There's so much good that comes out of this.
Yeah. So what's next on the docket?
Soap opera.
Soap opera.
Soap opera. So, a couple weeks ago, I came across this article on Cage Side Seats. Shameless plug for them, which is a shameless plug for us. Be sure to follow us on social media, Bros Before the number 4 elbows. That's @ on Twitter before, of course. Like us on Facebook. Find us on YouTube. This is live right now. This will be on iTunes and Podbean and all that jazz. I think I got them all. I'm not sure. If I didn't, you can fill me in, Anthony or Tommy. But anyway,
You're good, man. You nailed it.
the soap opera. So you guys, and correct me if I'm wrong. So someone posted an article on Kate's side saying that Raw is pretty much a soap opera, being that what opens Raw every week is it's usually 30 minutes, maybe 20. I don't know. I don't count the time, but it's usually a long-winded opening segment with storyline. So this past week, it was Mick Foley clearing up the women's division. Last week, it was Seth Rollins being pissed off. It was Kevin Owens' inauguration as the first second Universal Champion. And then throughout the show, you get all this soap opera stuff. The New Day, 385 days as your tag team champions. I'm personally sick of them. I like them, but I think that somebody else needs to be the champs, but they don't have anybody else to put the belts on. But they're doing these stupid comedy shticks with Gallows and Anderson are supposed to be this dominant tag team that came from New Japan. Because when they first got here, they came and they beat the crap out of whoever they attacked. I think it was the New Day, and now they're doing
Roman Reigns.
Now they're doing like Dr. Gallows and Dr. Anderson and Nurse Dana Brooke. Shout out Dana Brooke. They're doing stories like that, and then they're bringing out the Old Day. Like, what is that all about? Like, why is there so much more storyline? So my question was like, it was kind of going back to Raw versus SmackDown. Do we like the idea of having these long storylines with minimal wrestling? Or do we like SmackDown where it's like The Miz cuts this sick promo, which is not even on SmackDown, it's on the after show, and then that turns into all this heat on The Miz, and then he has to get in the ring and wrestle Dolph Ziggler. Like, what do you guys think about the soap opera that Raw has become versus what SmackDown is?
Who wants to answer first? Me or you, Amp?
No, you can take this one, Tom.
I think it kind of rolls into. See, here's what I'm gonna combine bullet point number 9 and 10. It kind of rolls into Lucha Underground because Lucha Underground is a soap opera. It's a show about wrestling that has like wrestling matches in it. So it's kind of like they kind of like meld both into it. So like the thing I don't like about Raw is like one that's too long. One that I think like their storylines they have potential, but then like their writers kind of go off the handle a little bit, and they kind of like. I don't know, they either make feuds too long or they kind of forget about feuds and like they write about a feud and then they kind of like forget about it. Like there's no like story like continuity. There's like a storyline continuity in it. So I kind of get lost of that. So I think kind of like the SmackDown way is kind of like working right now because it is so different because we've seen that Raw way for the past like whatever how many years Raw has been on TV since the mid 90s. So we've seen that way. We've seen that soap opera way where there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of promos cut in the middle of the ring, and there's some like interviews backstage, and that's like the Raw formula. So if they're gonna do the SmackDown where it's mostly wrestling, and then they're doing feuds like a different way, like on the after show or on social media in different ways to like advance the storyline. I think that maybe that's the new way to go. And I think that's why you two like dig SmackDown a little different because we've seen the Raw formula, we've seen that done before, and SmackDown's trying to do something different, so it's kind of more exciting with everything. So I think maybe that's why we're favoring SmackDown now because we've seen the soap opera version, and it's kind of like WWE is doing the same thing over and over again for like 15 years. So we kind of get excited when we see something new like SmackDown.
And what do you think?
Dang, dude, that hits it on the head. Especially when you talk about the same formula from Raw. Like we've seen that.
Yeah.
You know, and to me it's kind of like for them to completely change that now, I understand is more difficult. Because it's a longer show, and that's been the staple, recipe for years. So I think SmackDown has an advantage because it can just be, it is something new, even though it's something old and even though it's something that's already been out, it has this new shiny face, and I think they can take more risks with SmackDown, and they can do more wrestling. But they've relied so much on the storyline and in soap opera aspect of it on Raw that I think it's really tough for them to change it. And I think it's a little drawn out. I agree with you, Theron. It's too long. Tommy, you even mentioned that some storylines are forgotten about, so the consistency of the show is lacking and leaves much to be desired. But yeah, man, I just love SmackDown more because it still has soap opera, but it has more action. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like I'd rather watch an action movie than a rom-com.
I guess we're just a couple of haters. I mean, like Raw is cool. Like they have cool, like Enzo and Cass are cool. You know, again, I like Kevin Owens, but it's like their storylines just start and then stop. So Bayley, when she first debuted, she was told by Mick Foley that if she could win her match against Dana Brooke, she would get a women's title shot. She won that match. She hasn't gotten a women's title shot. Instead, they make a triple threat number one contenders match. So they don't have any consistency. They do this co-ed thing with, I think was it Jericho, and Jericho was in the ring with Sasha Banks and all those people. That turned into some sort of like co-ed match. Then that didn't continue. It's like they just don't know where to go with their storyline. So now it's like Jericho's KO's best friend, but KO becomes Universal Champion. So there goes Jericho. KO's going to be backed by Jericho, but Jericho's going to go deal with Sami Zayn. I thought we were trying to get away from anything with Sami Zayn and KO. So it's just like they have so many things that they start and stop. It's just hard to follow. The only thing you pay attention to is the title picture. And then it's like
from like looking like behind the scenes, I feel like the better writers like went to SmackDown, or maybe like the newer writers went to SmackDown, and like kind of like the old guard stayed writing for Raw for like going to go like behind the scenes. And
that makes sense.
Exciting the writers who maybe just came up from NXT or on SmackDown right now, and like kind of the like they split the team in half. Like a lot of the old guard went to Raw. I guess we're kind of seeing that play out on TV. If I had to guess, I don't have any sources or read anything. I'm just
right.
Guess.
Well, they ran an interesting angle last night with that because everyone's focusing on these women's divisions. This is like the last thing I'll say is that they have all four of their top women in the ring, right? They have Dana Brooke, who's been just getting bullied by Charlotte since she became her protege. And then, like, in a bit of anger, she slaps Charlotte, right? So you're like, finally, there's that redemption. If you're the marked out fan, you're like, okay, cool. Finally, she stands up to Charlotte. But then, right after that, she decides that was a mistake somewhere in the ring or when she lost the triple threat match. And then, like, they go to the back, and there was no fight. Charlotte didn't hit her again because Charlotte slapped her last week. Charlotte just makes her get her back. So it's like, what are you waiting on to turn that angle? But I guess maybe it's timing. So it's just like, you know, if that was SmackDown and she smacked her like she did, they would have been fighting right then and there. You know, that's where the differences are. So I agree with you, Tommy. I think the new breed came over to SmackDown, and the old guard stayed on Raw. So
I agree with that. I think that's a very solid assessment.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, last bullet point, really quick. We're over an hour now. Lucha Underground season 3 started. I just want to talk about that really. I just want to say, kind of like sum it up. Rey Mysterio faced Pentagon Dark in a match. Dario Cueto broke out of jail, and there was like Honky Tonk Man was like one of the guards in the jail.
The real Honky Tonk Man?
The real Honky Tonk Man was one of the guards in the jail.
That's legit.
And then
what?
They're already talking about like they're already talking about Lucha Underground, Ultima Lucha Dos. Ultima Lucha Tres. They were making matches for like their WrestleMania on their premiere episode. So it's just like so out there and so cool and so different. I just wanted to I want to get Anthony's take on it because I made Anthony watch it last time he was out in Phoenix. So can you like sum up like
Dark?
Orale.
I made him watch like 3 hours of it. So can you like sum up like
I'm hooked. Now that I have an upgraded cable package, that was one of the first things that I watched on El Rey Network. So I watched episode 1 of season 3, and I saw Honky Tonk Man, and I saw Pentagon Jr. versus Rey Mysterio. freaking awesome. You talked about it before. It's a show about wrestling that happens to have wrestling, and it's focused on wrestling, but it isn't like an episodic. I mean, it still is, but it's nothing like Raw or even the Indies. It's just
it's cool.
production.
It's just a production. Yeah, they have cool camera angles, like their backstage, like where they do talking, like in the office. It like looks like a movie. It looks like a Robert Rodriguez, like from Dusk Till Dawn or Sin City kind of movie style. The way they shoot it is just like so very different. They don't like cut promos in the ring usually. They just kind of like do those like little cut scenes, and that's how they kind of fill in their storylines. And they have like usually 2 or 3 matches per an hour long episode in between. So it's just cool. It's just I just want everyone to check it out, and I'm just a complete like mark for everything Lucha. It's probably my favorite show on TV right now, wrestling wise. So
it is so good, and 90% of course, it's called Lucha Underground, but 90% of the wrestlers wear masks.
Yeah. Can I on demand it or it's on El Rey? How would I find it? Can I on demand it? I can't on demand it, can I?
Maybe. I mean, you could try. Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
I know it's like yeah. I mean, usually like on their YouTube, they usually put like a match, like one match a week on their YouTube, and they usually do like a recap. They usually upload like 2 YouTube videos every week. So if you're on YouTube, you can definitely check it out that way to kind of keep up with it a little bit. But it's just so good, man. It's just I'll definitely check it out. And
Matanza Cuerto.
Is Conan? Is it Conan there or Vampiro?
Dude,
Vampiro, yeah,
badass, dude. I love Vampiro.
He's one of the announcers.
Really?
He had like an amazing match, like where he got tossed through like a flaming table in season 1, and then like he got thrown in thumbtacks in the season finale for season 2, and now like he's trying to take up a new protege to start the season 3, Prince Puma.
Prince Puma.
You mean Ricochet?
Exactly, yeah. Ricochet is Prince Puma. Yeah, he wrestles in New Japan as Ricochet, and wrestles in Pro Wrestling Guerrilla as Ricochet, but in Lucha Underground he's Prince Puma.
Prince Puma.
Isn't John Morrison there also?
Yeah,
Johnny Mundo.
Johnny Mundo. Yeah, he's got his own clique with who's that guy? He was on PJ Black. You remember him?
He has a clique?
Oh no, Justin Gabriel. Was it Justin Gabriel or?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's on there. He's on the clique with Johnny Mundo and like a girl and another guy, and it's cool, man. And they have a trios title instead of a tag title, so it's like 3-on-3. It's just cool. It's just like way different, and they're just like in their own little world.
You're making me want to go try to find this right now somehow on my TV. I think I have the Already network. I have the extra package. Sorry.
It's usually very deep.
I don't know what that means.
The cable channels. Yeah.
It's DirecTV, baby.
What is the extra package?
It's got all the sports channels.
It's like I think it's 317 on DirecTV. It's in 300s.
Yeah. I've seen the commercials for them. I've seen their preview. I think USA even might run some El Rey stuff just to be like, hey, this is a wrestling you can check out, but you probably won't because you're gonna watch WWE. And I'm like, I don't know. There's a guy in the jail cell. I don't know about how I feel about that. Then there's wrestling in between. But you're making it sound cool, so I'm gonna have to go watch it now.
Definitely check it out. We'll end on this as far as other things to check out. This will be real quick, and then we'll
good idea.
Hop off the show. So we've had Rockin' Ricky Gibson, or now the Rock God Ricky Gibson. My mistake, Rock God. On the show, we did an interview with him. He is now a part of a different promotion here in Portland. I think it's based out of Portland. I don't know a whole lot about it, but he was telling me about Paragon Wrestling. And he encouraged that I download this free app from the iTunes store, which you can also subscribe to our podcast at. It's called Fight TV, FITE. You can just type in Fight, and it'll be one of the first things that pops up. And you can watch ROH, so you can actually watch Ring of Honor, Chromecast it, which is super cool. And you can also watch Paragon Pro Wrestling, and it's awesome. It is it's indie, and it's new. I think they only have couldn't tell you how many episodes they have. Not very many, but a handful to make it interesting. But the production quality is incredible. It's indies, and it's great. I saw an episode with Rock God versus Gangrel, and you get to see Ricky Gibson do a little live concert during the show, which is pretty sweet. But nonetheless, Paragon Pro Wrestling, check it out. It's obviously now we're seeing the indies infiltrating and being a part of WWE. So here's another wrestling promotion that you can check out that's really like grassroots young dudes really going at it and having fun with it at the same time. So check out the Fight app, Paragon Pro Wrestling, and of course, thank you for listening to the show. We've jam-packed it, lots of topics, lots to discuss. Use the hashtag BB4E, hashtag Bros Before Elbows. Find us on Twitter, find us on Facebook, find us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on YouTube, subscribe to us on iTunes, listen to us on Podbean. Check us out, communicate with us, socialize with us, all that happy, good stuff. I'm out. I'm going to leave it to these two dudes to say farewell as well.
Thank you for listening. Props to AJ Styles for becoming your new World Heavyweight Champion this past Sunday at Backlash. But yeah, man, check us out on all those social media avenues that Anthony just mentioned. Thank you for listening to the show. Be sure to tweet us, follow us on Facebook, look at us, subscribe on YouTube. You got Podbean, you got iTunes. You can get all the Bros Before Elbows that you want. And that Twitter handle's @bros4elbows. Tommy?
Elbow drop your friends, people.
Very good.
Yeah.